I love the fans. They are our joy, why we make the show. But sometimes they can follow you for several blocks.
Hollywood is a noise machine. It screams for attention. It demands you sell your soul, your privacy, and your dignity for a moment in the light. But if you drive 4 hours north of that madness, deep into the Hudson Valley of New York, the noise stops. There, on a dirt road that isn't on the tourist maps, you'll find 157 acres of silence. You'll see rolling pastures, a 1940s farmhouse that looks like it grew out of the earth, and a man walking through the morning mist. He stands 4 feet 10 inches tall, but make no mistake, Peter Dinklage is a giant. He isn't out there playing the celebrity. He's raising cows. He's fixing fences. He's living a life that most people in his industry are too terrified to choose, a real one. But to understand why he protects this peace with such ferocity, you have to understand the war he fought to get here. Because Peter Dinklage didn't just climb the ladder. He had to build it from scratch, rung by bloody rung, while the rest of the world tried to kick it out from under him. Go back to 1969, Morristown, New Jersey, a middle-class home, an insurance salesman father, a music teacher mother, a normal American life until it wasn't. Peter was born with achondroplasia, in plain English, dwarfism. From the moment he took his first breath, the world decided who he was. They saw a curiosity. They saw a punchline. They stared. Imagine being a child, 5 years old, walking down the street, and realizing that grown adults are pointing at you. That kind of attention burns. It makes you want to hide. It makes you want to disappear. But Peter had a weapon. He had a rage inside him that he learned to turn into art. He didn't hide. In the 5th grade, he walked onto a stage in a production of The Velveteen Rabbit. And for the first time, the staring stopped and the listening began. He realized that when he spoke, he had power. He carried that power to New York City in 1991. And let me tell you, the 90s were not kind. He lived in an apartment in Brooklyn that was so cold, the rats were shivering. He had a degree, he had talent, and he had a suitcase full of dreams. But New York only had one thing for him: insults. Casting directors looked at him and saw a leprechaun. They saw an elf. They saw a prop. They offered him commercials where he would have to wear curled shoes and bells. And Peter Dinklage, starving, broke, and freezing, looked them in the eye and said, no. That is the measure of a man. It's easy to have principles when you're rich. It's nearly impossible when you're hungry. He chose dignity over a paycheck. He worked data entry jobs for years, dusting off keyboards, rather than letting Hollywood turn him into a joke. Then came 1995, a small indie film called Living in Oblivion. There's a scene where Peter plays an actor hired to play a dwarf in a dream sequence, and he snaps. He screams at the director. Do you have any idea how much I hate this? I don't dream of dwarves. That wasn't acting. That was Peter Dinklage letting out 10 years of frustration. And the industry finally woke up. They realized this wasn't a little person actor. This was an actor, period. But the real victory wasn't fame. It was The Station Agent in 2003. He played a man who just wanted to be left alone to watch trains. It was quiet. It was sad. It was beautiful. And it proved that a man of his size could be a romantic lead, a complex soul, a human being. Then came the monster, Game of Thrones. When they cast Tyrion Lannister, they didn't audition anyone else. They knew they needed a man who could be rejected by his father, mocked by the world, and still be the smartest person in the room. They needed Peter. He didn't play Tyrion as a victim. He played him as a survivor. I have a tender spot in my heart for cripples, bastards, and broken things, he said. And millions of Americans, people who felt overlooked, people who felt judged, nodded along. He won 4 Emmys. He earned $1.1 million an episode. He became an icon. But here is the twist. Most men, when they get that kind of power, they buy the penthouse. They go to the parties. They date the supermodels. Peter Dinklage packed his bags and went to the farm. Let's talk about this sanctuary. This isn't a hobby farm. This is 157 acres in Rhinebeck, New York. It's serious land. He has a 1940s farmhouse that he restored with his wife, Erica Schmidt. It's not flashy. It's full of wood and light and books. He has a dairy barn with 200 cows. He has 5 barns, paddocks, and a creek that winds through the valley. This is a man who can afford anything, and he chose dirt under his fingernails. Why? Because the soil doesn't judge you. The cows don't care about your Emmy Awards. The trees don't ask for a selfie. He drives a tractor. He walks his land. He has created a world where he is defined by what he does, not what he looks like. And look at his cars. A man worth $25 million usually drives a Ferrari. Peter, he started with a Volkswagen Golf, then a Chrysler 300, a solid American-made sedan. Then an Audi wagon for the family, and now a Toyota Mirai, a hydrogen car. These are the cars of a dad. These are the cars of a man who picks his kids up from school. He isn't trying to impress the valet at the Chateau Marmont. He's trying to get to the hardware store before it closes. His greatest achievement isn't the trophies, it's his silence. He has been with his wife, Erica, for nearly 20 years. In Hollywood years, that's a century. They have 2 children. And do you know their names? No, you don't, because he has never released them publicly. He protects his family like a lion at the gate. He knows what the public gaze feels like. He knows how cruel it can be. And he refuses to let that light touch his children. In an era where every celebrity is selling their kids' photos to Instagram for likes, Peter Dinklage's secrecy is an act of love. It's an act of defiance. He puts his money where his heart is too. He's a vegetarian, not because it's trendy, but because he saw animals suffering and couldn't look away. He has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for farm sanctuaries and to stop animal testing. He speaks for the voiceless because he knows what it feels like to not be heard. Peter Dinklage is 54 years old. He has conquered the stage. He has conquered the screen. He has conquered the stares of strangers. He proves that you don't need to be tall to look down on the pettiness of Hollywood. He proves that a man's height is measured by the size of the shadow he casts, and Peter's shadow covers the whole damn valley. He is a reminder to every one of us who feels different or broken or left behind. The world will tell you who you are. You don't have to listen. You can scream until they hear you. And then when you've won, you can walk away into the quiet fields and find your peace. So here's to the man in the farmhouse. Here's to the station agent. Here's to the giant. Hit like if you respect a man who keeps his private life private. Share this if you believe that character counts more than appearance. And remember, never let them tell you you're too small to make a difference.